Yeah, I take the baby for walks. Sometimes I go for runs, and a lot of times that involves me going down by the water. And you run by all these boats, and you see all sorts of lots of cool stuff. And the other day I was running by, and I saw these young dudes, and they were on a houseboat. And I immediately thought of you.
If you've listened to the program, you know one of my dreams is to either move to or retire onto a houseboat. A, I just think they're awesome. B, our city is riddled with crime. And there's not a lot of people robbing people that are out on the open seas in a houseboat.
So I said to myself, we got to get a hold of these young dudes. They're living the dream. They're on the houseboat. But then I saw on the boat some sort of logo type thing.
Mm-hmm.
So I came into work the next day and I Googled houseboats, Baltimore. Bing, bang, boom, we happened upon SleepAfloat. This is one of the SleepAfloat fleets here in Baltimore.
Go to SleepAfloat.com. Joining us from SleepAfloat, we have JJ Gold. He is the Director of Operations. Good morning to you, sir.
Good morning. Thanks for having me on.
Thank you for joining us.
You probably got a little bit of a backstory from producer, Backpage expert, Craigslist aficionado Mike Anderson about my infatuation with houseboats. I think they're awesome.
I did. He filled me in. He said you want to stay on one.
I want to stay on one of your...
We got to get him on one.
You have a fleet. On there you have our cities, everything from Boston, Cape Cod, L.A., Philadelphia, and I'm looking at your Baltimore fleet. You got 4 to choose from. The Delphinus, Scorpius, Virgo, and the Draco.
Yeah, 4 houseboats.
What's the presidential suite? Which one is the one that you show off to impress? They all look nice, but I want the one.
Scorpius.
Yeah, that's the
one with the deck.
We clicked on the Scorpius JJ, because we saw the whole top of it is a deck, which is badass. We can go have some beers and lay out in the sun with our fat bodies. But then we looked at the inside. The kitchen on this thing is nicer than the kitchen in my house.
Yeah, that's what it's all about. I mean, one of the largest benefits we have is that groups of up to 6 in this location can stay together in a cottage where they have cooking, and you can relax on a deck. And you're right on the water as opposed to a group of hotel rooms.
I never knew this existed. I never knew you could rent a houseboat. Like you said,
mind-blowing.
I'm looking at the price, the daily price, $200 to $300. And then if you have 6 people, you're splitting that up 6 ways. It's nothing. You're on the water.
You got
a houseboat.
You don't have to worry about making noise with the rooms over. Oh, God, there's an old couple banging in the room next door. Nothing. You're on a boat with a deck, full kitchen, all the amenities of a super nice apartment.
And it's got a master bedroom, which appears to have almost like a queen. Is that a queen-size bed?
Yeah, that is a queen.
God.
Now, I don't have a boating license myself, so it would obviously stay docked. If you did have a boating license, are you allowed to take these things out for a spin?
Actually, with everything in our program, everything has to stay at the dock.
Okay.
They function as dockside charters where, you have them dockside, but that's about it. We do have some boat owners that offer charters at some of our locations. But for the most part, the boats that you rent out, you're not going to be able to take out on your own.
What about internet access? Will I have access on the boat to any kind of Wi-Fi, anything like that, or is that up to me?
Yes, Wi-Fi is like water at this point. We have to provide it at every boat. We have Wi-Fi and cable television.
So you got power, electricity, cable television, Wi-Fi, a kitchen, full kitchen. Bathroom, obviously, showers. This is and now, what is the demographic of people who rent these? Is it just all across the board?
It is. It's mostly families. Don't forget air conditioning, though.
Oh, air conditioning. Yeah, can't forget that.
These are all. These are mostly families and people coming to cities. We're mostly in cities, with the exception of Key West and Key Largo. But they're coming there for all different reasons, like you might go to a hotel.
We're talking to JJ Gold from SleepAfloat. Go to SleepAfloat.com. We're looking at the fleet right now, the Scorpius in particular. Just hypothetically, I'm in the market just to pick one of these up. How much is a model like the Scorpius going to run, brother?
Scorpius, I think that boat went for about, it was between $100,000 and $120,000.
That's it.
I can afford that.
That's it. It's so nice, and you can live on it. It's got everything. Now,
well, the other thing, if you love a boat that much, we are essentially a boat owner program where we we help boat owners rent out their boats to vacationers when they're not using them to offset costs. So it's not that it makes it easier for people to buy or easier for people to keep them if they're tired of paying a ton, but they still love the times that they use.
So you could buy one, and then if you're not on it the whole time, you can
rent it out and make
get
money
in bed
on
with
it.
these guys and rent it out and make money. It just amazes. Go ahead.
Well, we have a lot of houseboats in our program, but we actually also do this with larger cruisers and trawlers. You can see a few in Boston and in Key West. We have Coconuts, which is a huge steel trawler that was converted into. They just used the hull and turned it into a house.
Where's that one? Key West?
That's in Key West.
There's two different Key Wests here.
It would be Key West Harbor. KWH.
And it just amazes me, JJ, because let's say we all didn't live in Baltimore, right? And we were coming, and we were coming to Baltimore for something. What would we immediately do? We would go look for a hotel room, right? And we would go stay in some hotel. I didn't even know this existed. You can go to these cities, stay on a houseboat, split the cost whatever ways, and I would say it's better than a hotel.
The vast majority of people are thrilled, and we get a lot of repeat business. And once people are aware of us, I've been told they search for us first, and then but we're booked in a lot of our locations a lot of the time. It's during desirable times if there's events going on in a place. Once people know about us, we book up quickly and early.
So JJ Gold, SleepAfloat, SleepAfloat.com. Sell me on actually living on a houseboat. We talked to some folks late last year from an actual houseboat distributor, like sales place, and there's pros, there's cons. You got to worry about septics, you got to worry about difficulties with weather, rocky seas and stuff like that, moving the craft around while you're trying to sleep on it. I mean, would you recommend living on one of these things permanently?
Well, there are a ton of liveaboards on all types of boats, and it's a whole lot easier to stay on one of our boats for a short period of time that we are taking care of than it is to live on your own boat. I actually did it myself for a time period, and if you live in a colder climate, it can be challenging in the winter and even the shoulder seasons. There's a lot to learn and there's a lot to keep up with. But if you were in a place like, say, I don't know, Florida or a year-round location, and you just had to worry about you didn't have the season changes, you just have to worry about your basic utilities staying maintained. It could be fine and nice.
Yeah.
And the storms. It depends how protected you are. You'd want to choose a marina carefully.
JJ Gold,
nice and affordable.
SleepAfloat. We're talking to JJ Gold. Now the final question we have. This is the big one.
Please answer correctly.
How do we get Justin on one of these boats for a few days? He's got to try it out. He's got to experience it.
I want a week.
I am going to have you guys put in touch with our reservationist right after we get off, and we'll try to find. We'll start with the best boats and try to find an opening.
I want to be on the Scorpio. Yes. I want to be on the Scorpio. JJ Gold, SleepAfloat, SleepAfloat.com. I'm on a boat, bitches. I want to stay.
Delphinus is equivalent.
Okay, the Delphinus. Also, I want that deck. The deck sold me.
By the way, I just logged on to the one in Key West, the old trawler. You got to go see this one. It's a giant trawler boat, and it's gorgeous. They made it into this floating house. Oh, it's so cool. SleepAfloat, I love it.
The old trawler sounds like my dad. Just wandering around looking for ass.